Reach your butthole to the corner of the ceiling. Before you go anywhere, just stick around. I'm telling you, when this video is done, you're gonna have some good damn secrets and tips to actually building your legs. Don't go anywhere. What is up? It's your boy, Johnny Shreve. I have BB Pro Ways to tell like it is, guys. Today, we are coaching up Dr. Mike and Jared and LeanBeefPatty. I'm gonna give you some tips and cues that even these guys can use to help build your legs properly. Just stick around. I want you to have big legs. Let's get into it.
Good.
The balance is
The balance is tough. Anytime you feel like you're going backwards, just tilt the dumbbells forward a little bit and you'll be golden.
Okay.
Chest up, knees back, get forward on your toes. There you go. Good, 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 good. Way to fix it.
I don't know why we try and bypass this and make things harder than they need to be. Look, we were created, we're evolved, whatever, with these really important things on our body that help us, that make us very versatile. And they're called our digits, our fingers and our toes. These things are for gripping, grabbing, pulling. Without these things here, it's gonna be really hard for us to do a lot of exercises. And guess what else they're for? They're for balance as well too. Your toes are for balance. And I don't know why so many times that people bypass this thing because it's extremely important. So to emphasize these things a lot more, right? Mike telling LeanBeefPatty to just counterbalance the weight is very careless and not a good cue whatsoever. Because why would we take away the things that are on our body for the purpose of balance to make things harder when we can just use them? So I'm gonna break this thing down for you guys, super simple for you guys to understand. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Jared does a really dope job giving an awesome cue. Reach your butthole to the corner of the ceiling, right? To the top of the ceiling in the corner. If you think about it, if you do that, you're literally, that's a really good cue. But when it comes down to it, guys, our toes are here for grip. Let me give you an example why, okay? On the way down, we wanna keep our chest up, right? We wanna reach that butt back, right? Keeping the chest up, keep the chin slightly tucked, not like this, but just neutral. And then we can focus on keeping the shoulders back so we don't have any kind of rolling of the shoulders, because we don't wanna be down like this. We don't need this stuff here, right? And we also don't want this here. You look like you're like, we want a nice neutral spine starting from your neck, from here, reaching your butt, great cue from Jared, to the back and reaching it back and going down with slightly bending in the knees so we can continue to go down. Now there's gonna be a point where you won't be able to go down far enough. Go only to as far as you can naturally go. And eventually you'll be able to get deeper and deeper. If right here you're like, damn, back of my legs is tight, great, stay there, right? If you can get deeper, good. Good, good. Some people are more flexible, but when you're down here, you can see that Jared and LeanBeef are like this, trying to balance, and he's like, well, if you're gonna balance, if you're gonna fall forward, push your hands forward. Yes, okay, you can counterbalance that way. Yes, you can, but guess what? I've now taken the weight and pushed it away, and now I'm getting more emphasis on my lower back. And that's where you're gonna feel it like, oh, that sucks. When you can easily do this. So we wanna keep a neutral spine, that great cue from Jared. Let's push our butt back in the back of the room. Right now, look, because my toes are up and I'm here, I'm gonna be balancing on my toes. I've made this cue for years. I said, grip your toes into the floor. Because when I'm going back, watch this. I'm gonna push my butt back as far as I can without my heels, with all my toes in the ground. Watch what happens. Pushing it back, and right, and now I'm falling backwards, and I gotta do this to balance myself. Now watch this. I'm gonna push it back, I'm gonna grip my toes in the floor. Look how much further I can go, pushing back. I can literally shove myself back and stay balanced. Grip your toes into the floor, which is gonna give you a better overall base and control. So that cue is a bad cue to just balance your hands, the dumbbells, when you can just grip your toes into the floor. So when you're doing your RDLs, you're making sure that your knees and toes are aligned. So you're not like this. You're externally rotating slightly so your knees are in line with your toes. And then on the way down, I'm taking those toes like this and I'm gripping them in the floor. And that allows me to get down as far as I can with having great balance. And when you're coming on the way up in terms of that concentric load, and then coming up, those toes in the ground, you can literally feel your body pulling yourself back up with a good base coming from your feet. Don't start doing this and doing a balancing act, because most people don't have good balance to begin with. You don't have to spend the time trying to figure out your RDLs and balancing at the same time. You just want to do your RDLs. Work the glutes, work the hams, and that's it. Let's go to the next exercise.
The idea is to stay nice and upright and to touch gently your knee all the way to the ground.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so let's get that leg a little bit more forward. You want a nice big split? Very good. And that other leg back even more. Perfect.
Should this be like straight up and down more or less?
Straight
or
up,
like...
straight up and down would be better.
Okay.
So you can step even more forward if you like.
Okay.
Excellent. Very good. Nice and slow. Super gentle touch. And up. Good.
Here's the thing. I'm going to give a benefit of the doubt because, you know, maybe it's editing, maybe they missed something. Maybe from the angle he's coaching from, he can't see it. But guys, when I'm talking about these exercises, guys, I have coached over hundreds of people, almost a couple decades. So when I'm correcting these things, I'm correcting them from a place of years of experience. When I watched Doc Mike do his set, I'm like, that's how you do it. Then when he corrected LeanBeefPatty, I'm like, no, because we're gonna confuse people because the way he did it was actually the opposite of what he told Lean Beef. And the way he did it is the way you need to do it to actually feel your glutes even more. I'm gonna explain that. What Doc Mike is saying, and you look at, for the most part, when you look at LeanBeefPatty, she's flexible. We know she's flexible. She's a freaking ex-gymnast and shit. She can do some shit that we can't. You wanna make sure that when you're taking a step back, that step back is shoulders apart so we don't have this whole tight roping thing. We're in a good position here where we have balance. I can go this way, and this way and not fall over. If you're like this, as most people do, they end up doing this shit and they're spending half the time trying to stay balanced when they're doing the damn lunges. And that's why most people hate doing lunges. Most of all, it's painful because they're doing it wrong. And then balance makes it even worse. The more hip flexion that happens, the more our glute works. Now, what is hip flexion? Hip flexion is basically in a couple ways, like this or like this, right? The higher I can lift this thing up, the more hip flexion I'm gonna get, right? And having a good neutral spine. Unfortunately, when we do certain things, if we're saying, okay, I wanna do this and just hit glutes, and he's right. If I have too much knee flexion, if my knee goes too far this way, I'm gonna bias a lot more of my quad, 100%. This will make this part of my quad work that much greater than this, because if you think about how much higher this is, it's not much higher, and we're elevated here. So obviously, you know, having a little bit of elevation here is great. But if we're too far and I'm back like this, and I'm too far and I'm biasing this and I'm going like this, and we know where most of this is right now, this is giving this a massive stretch. Now let's flip it around. If I wanna stretch my hip flexor, you know what we do? We go like this, nice and wide, and we put a foot down here, and we have this nice stretch here that I'm gonna get my hip flexor on the opposite leg. This is where I'm gonna get most is because if you look at this 90 degrees here, even being here, this is where I'm getting the stretch, not on my actual glute. My glute might be stretched a bit, but not as much as it can when you have slightly a little bit more knee over toe. And what I mean by knee over toe is not necessarily an ATG squat or ATG lunge where you're basically, as the grass, your knees basically passing way over your toe. If I'm talking about hip flexion, I want to be able to pull my leg up like this. My glute stretched, hip flexion. If I pull it up even more, I'm getting even more hip flexion. Now, if I do the same thing again and I maintain having a straight knee, a 90-degree angle knee from here, if I continue to raise it up 90 degrees, where does my leg go? It's pushing out this way. So when I'm trying to push up, where's that angle? For me to keep this angle and have that even more, that greater hip flexion, my leg has to do something like this, which would be healthier for me to actually get more of a glute stretch. Does that make any sense? Mechanically, yes, doing this is not gonna make my glute work any better. But when it comes to doing the actual exercise, we are going to need to move that knee slightly a bit to be able to target the glutes and be right on it and be precise. So here's what I mean by that. We get on this right here. LeanBeefPatty is super far. So when she's going down, it's like this. And then when I push up, that pressure's on that back leg. We want that knee to travel slightly forward on the way down as we go. And we get a crazy amount of stretch in the glute. And I have a slight little lean over top of my knee from here. And I got a lot of balance and I got my glute firing off. And guess what? From my heel and my toe, I'm gonna push right back up and then down again and stretching it on the way down and then up. Don't sit back like this and have a wide stance. You're gonna end up just stretching your groin. You're gonna end up just stretching your hip flexor. You're gonna end up just turning this into a hip flexor stretch. And you're not gonna feel much of it on here. Now again, if you wanna stretch hip flexor, great thing to do. But if you're trying to grow those glutes, do it the way I said. take a little bit of the cues of Mike and take the corrections from myself, put them together, and you got glutes for days.
Down, slow, slow, control. Up, come on. Down, chest, slow, control. Even the quad, you got it. All the way up, stand all the way up this time.
In one of the videos prior, I was talking about basically when he's talking about the limiting factor of doing goblet squats is going to be holding the dumbbell. Now, when he was holding the dumbbell, he's holding it like this. And I can tell you right now, I 100% agree that holding a dumbbell like this, doing goblet squats, your limiting factor will 100% be holding it like this. If you guys have been around for a while and watched my videos, I've showed you guys how to actually hold a dumbbell or even a kettlebell while doing goblet squats. Now, here's what I'm saying until when you're doing these. Holding them like this will be limiting factor 100% because guess what? Holding like this, the weight's here, and I'm really just, my biceps will gas up more than anything else. Holding it like this, elbows being tucked, letting my shoulders naturally depress. I'm actually holding this weight up more so with my lats than I am anything else. This is 60 pounds. I can literally chill here all day long, right? I got this 60 pounds here. I'm holding it first. Now, if I do his way, right now, this is, you can see how much stress is already on my biceps and holding this. And when I want to actually do the goblet squat, I'm going to be very, very, this is really bugging me. So holding it the other way is better. The reason why I have a problem with this exercise, not necessarily the actual movement itself, because we're just doing a squat and we're loading it a different way. The problem I have is, let's just say you're LeanBeefPatty, okay? You're lucky enough that Dr. Mike, Renaissance Periodization gets you on the channel. And they're like, put these on your shoulders. What do you think is gonna be harder to do at the end of a workout that you just did? You saw LeanBeefPatty when she's doing lunges, you saw her when she was doing RDLs. She's tired. What's gonna be harder? Taking 2 dumbbells like this and then doing a squat, right? Or having the same amount of weight and holding it like this. What happens to hold like this? The reason why I like goblet squats is because it gives us a nice neutral spine. And then when I squat, everything stays nice and upright. I have a nice neutral spine and I can really work that exercise while I'm doing a quarter or coming down into rest. I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. I feel good here. For most of you guys, at the end of doing all that, this is gonna be hard for you because guess what? When you're actually doing these, if I'm doing a squat, right? Most people don't have the flexibility in their shoulders like this to continue to go down. Now, what they're doing a great job of is options in terms of elevating your heels. So if I even elevate my heels and I do this, at the end of that workout, this is still hard to do. Why? We'll put it this way. What do you think will be harder? Holding your hands up like this while balancing dumbbells on your shoulders, or holding a dumbbell like this in the center of your body when you squat? Option 2 is gonna be that much better. If you wanna know a really good trick to find out how flexible you are or how mobile you are, when I put somebody through a movement screening, what I do is this. Hold your arms out, straight out, shoulder height, no higher than that, just like this. And I want you chest up, and to do a squat. But how far can you go until your body is like literally tilting like this, right? Now, you can always adjust things by getting on some wedges, same idea. We can do this and sit down and obviously fix a bit by increasing the leverage of my heels. But you can see how it exposes people. Now do the same thing and having weights like this. Guess what? It's gonna affect your mobility or your ability to actually get down the squat because those people are not flexible like this through this part of their back. So when they're going on the way down, we wanna make sure our shoulders are depressed, our chest is up, and we can keep that neutral spine going down. Simply like this, some people can't do that and they end up rolling. So doing this in the end of a squat or a day, you're like, oh, that's gonna be quite a task at the end of a workout like that. All right, guys, so that is it, guys. Take some of those cues and apply it to those exercises. You can rearrange that workout or just individually have those cues for each exercise. Put that together and reap the benefits of feeling your glutes a lot more and just growing those glutes. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed that video, let me know in the comment section below. And for more videos like this, let me know in the comment section below. And again, guys, if you're at the beginning of your fitness journey and you want to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of your workouts or your fitness journey, or you've already made some great progress, but you're stuck and you don't know how to continue or where to go, hit the link in the description below, johnnystreetfitness.com, fill out that application, jump on a 15-minute video call with me, and we go over your goals and see what we can achieve together. Let's get things started now before 2025. So when New Year comes, we're already ready. Anyway, guys, till next time, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.